So Lisa was a psychology student at UBC on holiday break. She rode Amtrak to LA, got a room at the Cecil, and according to her Facebook post, she went to the San Diego Zoo, went to Conan O'Brien's show. Friends stated that she never, ever would drink alcohol or smoke or take drugs. She called her parents daily until January 31st, 2013. Parents knew right away something was wrong when she didn't call. They called Vancouver PD, who called LAPD. LAPD brought out search dogs and scoured the hotel from the bottom floor to the top floor. And the dogs were taken to the roof, and they found no scent of her anywhere. Nothing was suspicious. On February 14th, LAPD released a CCTV video of Elisa on the elevator. It's an unbelievable footage of Elisa wearing black shorts, red sweatshirt, sandals. She enters the elevator, presses the buttons, and she kind of backs herself into a corner, and she looks frightened. Some people say she's talking. She peeks outside the elevator, goes in and out, presses the buttons, trying to get the elevator to work. It doesn't. She goes in and out a few times, finally gives up, walks outside, gets out of view, and the elevator door closes. Never seen again. resident in the hotel complained of low water pressure. The maintenance man took a ladder to the roof, unlocked the access door to the roof, turned off the alarm to the roof, and made his way to 4,000-gallon tanks that sit on this platform about 5 feet up off the roof. And these 4 tanks sit on a platform. Each tank's about 4 foot in diameter, 8 feet tall, with slick sides to them. He puts the ladder up next to one of the tanks, opens the latch on the top of the tank, looks inside, and sees Elisa floating face up and naked. He gets down, calls LAPD, and they respond out. They're baffled by what they see, but they figure out that the tank opening is too small to remove her body. They cut a larger hole into the top of the tank, and they see her clothes and sandals around her in the tank. The coroner responds, removes the body, no visible injuries. On February 20th, 2013, CBC is the major news organization in Canada, and they schedule an interview with robbery homicide detectives at the 11th hour, right before it's ready to go. LA cancels and never gives another interview about this. Nobody would talk about it. On February 22nd, a coroner's report came out and stated the cause of death was inconclusive. And for 4 months, there's nothing. On June 20th, the coroner stated the cause of death was accidental drowning, accidental death. They didn't test for certain substances in the body. They found her blood alcohol content at 0.02, but when the body decomposes itself, blood alcohol will show up, and that was the reason for that. I said, okay, I'm going to try to find out more about this. So I filed and got a 27-page coroner's report on this case. She was wearing the same clothing that she was wearing in the elevator. The coroner's report said it wasn't suicide and no foul play was incurred. Think about these words as I read them. No foul play, no suicide. They said death was accidental. You got to follow the logic here. So you must believe that Elisa went to the roof, got in the tank somehow without a ladder. She wasn't under the influence of drugs. No drugs were found. Does this make any sense to you at this point? Now, it gets weirder. Now, as I'm doing the follow-up on this case and I'm checking for articles around that date, I find an article about tuberculosis in LA. So Elisa was pulled from the water cistern on February 19, 2013. On February 21st, there's an article in the LA Times, and it says CDC, the Center for Disease Control, is dispatching scientists to Los Angeles to understand a horrible and bad strain of tuberculosis spreading so rapidly in the LA area that they're trying to understand how it occurred. But one of the things that I should have take a step back and cover is the coroner's report. One of the oddest things in that report was that the coroner stated that they couldn't get blood tox screening on it because they couldn't find enough blood in her body to do the toxicological screening. And in the hundreds and hundreds of reports I've read, I've never read that. That, to me, was one of the most unusual points about the coroner's report. I made a request to get LAPD homicides report on the incident, and LAPD said they won't release it. And I find that kind of unusual since they said it was an accidental death and drowning. Why wouldn't you release that? There was no physical injury except a small scratch on her knee that was seen on the body, and that was it. Yeah, so a couple days after she disappears, CDC sent some people out for a rapidly developing tuberculosis problem in a severe strain of it, not a normal strain. So Elisa Lam arrives in LA on January 26, 2013. February 19th, she's found in the tank. February 21st, an outbreak of TB like they've never seen happen. CDC sends a team out for it. The part that's completely unbelievable is that when you look at the article, it says that they're going to use what's called the Lam/Elisa test the tuberculosis and the strain of it on the victims in LA. I read it. I couldn't believe it. Not the Elisa Lam disappears. They're saying they're going to use the Lam-Elisa test. And when you look it up online, it exists. And it's existed for a long time. And how it got that name wasn't really clear, but it's been around for almost 8 or 9 years. So is that a coincidence? Well, this movie is called Dark Water. And it was adapted from a Japanese movie by the same name written by a guy named Koji Suzuki. And it was about a 5-year-old girl who lived in an apartment complex with her parents. It's a run-down apartment complex. And one day they go to the roof to light off fireworks, and they discover a Hello Kitty bag on the roof. And during the movie, the daughter talks to an invisible friend while she's in the bathtub. And the elevators, she talks about moving on their own during the movie. So Elisa's found in a water tank. It's about a girl who talks to invisible friends in the bathtub. They go to the roof and they discover this. They live in a rundown apartment. The similarities were unreal. Elisa's missing just as a TB breaks out in the city. Canines can't pick up her scent on the roof. She's found naked without her clothes and shoes. Interestingly, the cell phone that she carried with her everywhere was never found. She's a college student. The similarities between the other disappearances are there, and you can't ignore them.